Hi there.
Hi, welcome back to Curious Collection. I'm Will.
I'm Cinnamon.
So today we're going to talk about sourcing, summer, sales, all that stuff kind of packed
Slump.
into one. Yeah. So if you're like us, you know, summer's slow. We struggle with sales. It seems like every day is like pulling teeth.
So
And
summer's really hard because, like, yes, there's the slump, and it doesn't have the same like, you don't get those same cha-chings all the time. So we tend to try to pull back on our buying, but then we're in the office more and we're listing more, which I'm sure is really super awesome for Q4, but not so super awesome for my psyche.
Right. So, of course, we're all resellers. And so a big part of reselling is sourcing. And, of course, that's also why we end up with death piles. So this is a great opportunity for us to focus on our death piles, work through some of that old inventory, which I know is hard.
It is.
But at the same time, like here in Florida, you're talking about mid 90s to high 90s every day. We're talking about, 80% or more humidity every day. My hair is a nightmare. Yeah, seriously, you got curly hair here. It's hard. It's hard. So, that's one of those things. Like, so we're not going out typically to open market, flea markets. We're not really going to like yard sales. Frankly, there's not a lot of yard
People
sales
don't
this
have
time
them
of year. It's too hot, too humid.
Hot for them to stand outside all day.
And here in Central Florida, during the summertime, you get high humidity, you get the heat, and then you get afternoon thunder showers. So for a lot of people, dragging all their stuff out into the yard, just for it to be rained on isn't really worth the effort. So, and then again, here it's a big tourist area, so the snowbirds will come in the wintertime.
Right.
Great opportunity to sell, not really a great opportunity in the summertime to sell. So what we see, though, is when we do happen to get out of the office, there's a lot of buying opportunities out there. And there's been a lot of chatter recently within the community about how it's a great time to buy and source in northern climates because of yard sales. And eBay prices, frankly, are suppressed. So, I've picked up a couple of lots online as well that I've been able to break up and flip and make a profit on. But, my focus today is really about how, sales are bad-ish. If you're getting sales, I think we're doing good. So, like, when we get a $200 day, that's a success in my mind right now.
Yeah, right now it is.
Whereas, in the fall, winter, we're really trying to get $300 days. So, so our sales are looking like that. They're looking like they're, 30% lower than, maybe January was. So how do we balance this? Because we're not making the money that
and we've already like cherry picked off the best pieces that we have in our stockpiles. So sometimes it's really hard because like I feel like I'm like another $15 piece of jewelry, another $15 to $20 piece of jewelry, and I feel like that's all I'm doing anymore, and that's really hard to keep motivated. Right.
So last month we had done some sourcing. We had found some good opportunities. When we ran our numbers, if you watched that show, you saw that between the two of us, we made $2,700 last month. Our goal is $4,000, which again, if you do some basic math, family of three, $4,000 a month in total income. And, that includes your all your taxes and liabilities. And, we're making less than $48,000, take home.
Right.
So
our budgeting skills are like mad. They are awesome.
Right. So we want to be very careful. We've socked away a little bit of money. So I want to talk about kind of the process that goes through my mind with regard to our budget and the finances that are involved in that. And then we can't stop sourcing. Right. It's in our blood to begin with. Right. But it's also important for us to keep our store fresh. Because like you said, we don't want our whole store to be $20 items.
Right.
So, it is important to put out those higher value interesting, exciting.
And it's really hard to balance because like you do need to be able to get out there and source and stuff like that just to keep yourself sane and to get out of the office sometimes. But like you can't just spend money because money is pretty tight right now.
Right.
So you have to be incredibly choosy.
Right. So one of the things that we talked about back even in January was that we were planning for this. We were planning for a slow summer. And so we were building our bank account to the point where we would have a minimum of 1 month payroll ahead, preferably 2, plus additional money for inventory costs.
Right.
So what does that look like for us right now? Right now, we're at the end of the month. We have our payroll for July. We have our payroll for August. And we have enough money that we can spend, $50 or something a week for sourcing.
Yeah.
It's not a lot. It's not a lot. So what are we doing with that $50?
Oh, baby.
So I want to be very careful. Like this $50. If you think about the math, how are we going to turn $50 into 10,000? Like that's not going to really work. But at the same time, we have to get as much out of that dollar as possible. It's much more important to us in the summertime to be better at sourcing.
It really is.
The sales are so much harder.
Yeah, we have to be super, super choosy. There's so many times that I'll like walk by something, I'll be like, yeah, but I have a few of those in my inventory already and they haven't sold yet. So, or that's only mid. Like I can't, I can't spend that. Even if it's just a few dollars, I can't spend it today because I don't have it in excess.
Right. So we did bring a couple of exciting pieces that we want to share with you guys. The first piece that I'm going to show is something that I actually sold overnight. I listed it last week. It's a local landmark. It's on the National Registry of Historic Places. So there's a lot of history in this item.
Which is totally up your alley.
Right. And let's be real. That's really what my focus is on those museum quality, museum grade items that have, some form of historical significance. So
he was excited when he was listing this one. He stopped me and he's like, oh my goodness, look at this. This is a museum piece.
Right. So when I buy collections, basically, what I'm looking for is a piece or a couple of pieces that I know are going to be exceptional. I don't care if the rest of it's, mid-range. I don't care if it's garbage, frankly. So long as I know that the one piece will take care of it. And so this one piece is really the focal point of what the buy was. Now, I would have paid less than $20 for a box of photographs. You can see this right here, this guy, he's plowing the yard, and you can see it's a horse-drawn plow, and on the back they've actually wrote out the description of the location, and so I was able to very easily go, okay, copy it right off the back. This is the description. He's plowing it. This would have been around 1900. Which then lends to the significance of it. You can actually Wikipedia the location. It will tell you the history of the people that own the property. Like it's that significant to this area. So this piece, like I said, I would have bought a box of photos. The rest of the photos would have been listed, or they would have been sold on Whatnot in handfuls for $3 starts. And so I already made my money back on the $20 box. This individual piece had listed, so I sold it at full price, $150 for one photograph.
Yeah.
So that is, again, super pumped about that.
So proud of him.
The ability to preserve the history of this piece is really, for me, that's really the important part. You said
it was going right back to that town too.
Right. The next town over is where this is from, and somebody in that community went and bought it. So my hope is that they're either going to display it proudly or they're going to put it into the local museum.
Yeah.
So,
which is just so cool.
So we went to a couple of estate sales last week, more or less to get out of the house. Not necessarily because we were on deep hunt for for materials, but
it was
100% sanity based. I'll be frank, they had cases of Charmin in the estate sale, and I'm like, well, if I can get a deal on something that everybody uses, then for the house, then we might as well go check it out.
Right.
So
but they did have some jewelry, and it was a different crowd. It was a different estate than we typically go with, and so I had gone over to the jewelry, and both of these estates that we had gone to, they had some really, really great jewelry. So I'm just going to show you some of the pieces that I had picked up. This piece actually sold. This is a museum of the Metropolitan Museum of Art. And I've sold a couple of these pieces already. So this is genuine lapis lazuli, and then they usually use like gold plate. And this piece I sold for $50. So I was super excited about that.
So what we're looking for basically is we're looking for those 10x type of buys now. Basically. We don't have the funds to be buying 4x. Like we talked about, the minimum that we would ever purchase would be a 4x.
Right. We 25% of what we can sell it for. And yeah, you're right. Like that's just not going to cut it right now. We have enough of the stuff that is the 4x that, this piece here, I bought it for $5 and I sold it for $50. So that's much better margins when we shouldn't really be buying very much right now.
Well, anyway. And that's the thing is like, we do have to buy, we have to keep the store fresh. And you listed this, and when did it sell?
It sold same day, twice. Yeah.
She sold it twice.
Yes, I did, because I told you yesterday that we've been cross-listing everything on Posh and Mercari, and it sold on Mercari. Like we had finished up the day at 3 p.m. It was the last item that I had listed.
It was actually lunch.
Oh, was it lunch? Yeah, it was lunch. So we took a break for lunch, and it sold on Mercari, and we're like, awesome. When we get back to the office after lunch, then we'll go ahead and get that shipped out. And then it wasn't 2 minutes later that it sold on eBay.
Yeah.
So I'm like, crap.
Yeah. So we had to cancel one of the orders, unfortunately. And we'll take the defect on that account. But, again, what are you going to do? Like, if they sell simultaneously, basically, like
there was no time at all to even.
Yeah. So, and again, that kind of demonstrates to me the excitement around that piece. It was probably a little underpriced.
I'm sure it was.
The fact that we were able to 10x our money makes me very pleased.
We don't have to be greedy at that point. Like, we can genuinely be, and that's the thing is we do try to give everybody the best possible deals. And so, I want to be able to do that. I want people to be able to do their shopping and get some great pieces. Bills too. But yes, we still need to get ours.
So you've got a couple other pieces that you picked up just to kind of show people we absolutely amazed at the type of products that this estate had.
So this estate, she had all of the jewelry was $5, which is a little pricey when it comes to some of the estate jewelry.
Yeah, especially costume jewelry.
Right. So, and I mean, some of the clip-on earrings and stuff like that, I can really only get $15 top price on. So you do have to kind of hem and haw over it, but they had some really nice pieces. So I kind of like swept in and I grabbed everything that I could see that I thought was worth value. And there were some people there that are like,
competition.
Ooh, yeah. But like, okay, so these, I don't know if I can show you very well. Sorry. All right. So I saw these. These are natural rubies with diamonds set in gold. Both white gold and yellow gold, two-tone. I mean, they are freaking amazing, and they're signed, and they're beautiful, and I got them for $2.50 because when she got up there, then, and again, I didn't have my loop. Things were very, very fast, so I just kind of did like a grab and
you
go.
Didn't even, I mean, again.
I did not know that. I saw the ruby, and I can recognize a ruby from across the room, but oftentimes rubies, when they're cheap rubies, they're set in silver, and I mean, I'm okay with that too, but these were pretty amazing. And when I got up to the front, she's like, okay, well, we'll give you the earrings 2 for $5. And I was like, okay, we can do that.
Yeah. So more or less, we kind of lucked into the 10X on these.
We did. This was an amazing sale.
Yeah.
It really was. The woman who had this jewelry, like, it was designer. It was amazing. She had, like, okay, so I'm going to show you this next set, which is just super amazing. All right. So these are Christian Dior logo from the 80s on the card. I mean, these earrings, like, there were some of them that I saw that had like $500 comps because they're European and they're Christian Dior and their logo that's been retired since the 80s. And I mean, like, amazing. And there were several sets of Christian Dior. Not as nice as this. This is a really super amazing set. But like other
so
designer.
I just have to be clear. Yes, you paid $250 for them. We didn't mark them at $25.
No. These I marked at $200 because, again, I'm seeing other comps and they're $500. So I don't have to be greedy. There were some other ones that I saw that were more of like the $200. But the problem is that there's not very many of the textured, which is what these are. Most of the other ones are smooth. So that's the more modern design, not from the 80s. Like, how do you find Christian Dior logo from the 80s that are still on the card that look brand spanking new? I swan, I don't even think she wore them. Like, that's insane how awesome these earrings are. And then I have this other set of earrings. These are super cool too. So these are like moonstone. Do you see how amazing those earrings are? Like, so cool. And they're like, I think they're gold plated, but I'm not 100% certain because I don't want to scratch them and then take the gold off. But on the back, and I'm sure you're not going to be able to see, they are hand signed by the artist. So like these were like made for her. I don't even know. They're amazing. So like, so cool. So cool. I was so excited to get this by. They are just the coolest. I love jewelry. I really do. And then when you have like super cool stuff like that, it just makes everything worthwhile.
So again, like, I want to circle back to the whole moral of the story is that, we have to be very careful with our summer sourcing. Deals are abundant and, sales are also slow to come by. So just because we picked up some amazing pieces doesn't mean that these are going to fly off the shelf. These, frankly, we're in June. We got till December to move these. It's probably going to sell it, after Thanksgiving. So, that's kind of why I wanted to do this video is that, yes, there's great opportunity. If you have the capital to reinvest in your business, it's a great time to do it. But we need to do it with caution. We need to do it with mindfulness. I'm going to be real. The $10 that she might have sitting here in jewelry, the reality is that, the ruby might be a Mother's Day gift. I might have to buy those out of the business, to keep the cash flow for the business, with regard to a birthday present or a Christmas present or, something like that. Because when you start looking at this type of stuff, you can kind of get caught up if you walk in and you see the ruby earrings and even at $50 and you go, oh, well, I could 4X that.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to do this video is like, yes, there's great buying opportunities, but sales are slow. So use caution, make sure that you've got at least that one extra month of payroll there. Yeah. You may need to pull off pieces of that month of payroll for the next 2, 3, 4 months. And nobody, my biggest fear in this business is, we get to the end of the year, we've got mountains of inventory and we don't have any money.
Yeah.
I'd much rather have a little bit of money in the bank account, not just piles of inventory.
Yeah. And it's hard because you get stuck in the office and you're like, oh my word, I can't look at these 4 walls anymore. And the thing is, like, it is such a balance act. I swear everything in this business is a balance act. Life is hard.
Yeah. So, and I struggle with the same thing too. I've been working out of the same tote of paper for the last month, and it is mind numbing to, I'm just like, every day I come in and I'm like, is there something different I can list? Is there something different I can look at? Because I'm tired of looking at pictures of, boats every day. So, actually, that's why I ended up listing this image of this farm, is that I was tired of looking at cruise and shipping ephemera. So I ended up doing one day last week. I did some photos, and thankfully I did, because honestly, this is going to help us pay some bills. So that's what we've got for you guys today. I appreciate you stopping in. Hopefully you were excited as Cinnamon was about this jewelry.
I'm so excited. I love pretty shiny things.
I'd like to know if you guys could drop a message down below. What criteria do you use when sourcing during lean times? Because I really think that's important. It's very easy when we're having the $10,000 or $12,000 month in sales to be able to go out and just ball out and buy, truckloads of inventory.
Right. How much for all of it?
Right. Back in January, money was flowing good, and we had gone out, we had bought an entire booth at a flea market. Right now we're picking up 3 or 4 pieces.
Yeah.
So we're not buying booths, but there are opportunities out there. So, I want to know if you can mathematically quantify, or, kind of give me an idea,
formula?
Right. Some type of formula as to how you determine how much you're going to reinvest into your business. Just so that we can kind of all get an idea. Like I said, we use a 10X when we don't really have a lot of capital. 4X is our absolute minimum, and that's like those slam dunk items. So like, subscribe, and please comment down below.
All right. Thanks so much. Good luck to you guys out there.